I just feel like I'm not respected right now. Like, they ain't respecting my
Ain't
picks.
putting no respect on your name.
They ain't
man.
putting no respect on my name.
Hey, we ain't
sometimes
having
I'm just
none of
like-
that. After this card, I think, you know.
All the respect will be on my names?
Yeah. All the respect. Hey, yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of your favorite MMA sports betting channel, Bros Talk MMA. I'm your host, Utica, undeniably the illest cat around, a.k.a. Mr. Make This Pick Real Quick. I'm here with my bro host extraordinaire.
It's Ray Bucks. It's Chikel Jordan. It's Ray Mysterio. It is Black Jesus, the parlay god.
Yes,
Because I did pick my first five right.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Don't you ever doubt. Don't you ever doubt.
So, Black Moses, Black Nostradamus, y'all know who it is.
Yes, indeed. Before we get into our breakdown tonight, let's go over UFC Mexico City. It was a decent card. We both came up plus on our picks, you know.
Absolutely.
Like bro said, you know, he was 5-0 at one point before he even caught his first L, which I will say only came by some questionable judging. You know, we also had another one earlier in the night, which I ain't mad. Bro won, but you know, that Dos Santos Altamirano fight was a little bit funny too.
I will say that it was a very funny fight. I will say that Altamirano won that fight based on performance. I did take the W-dub.
You did? That's why, you know, can't be mad.
My man's definitely picked it right. So I got to give you the credit on that for sure.
Good man. Good man. You know, we also had our boy Cristian Quinones kind of shit the bed, but, you know, it's all good. I'm not going to be, you know, too mad about that. He did face an almost 40-year-old man with a compromised shoulder. Let him choke him out in the third round with only a little bit to go, but hey, it's neither here nor there.
Sometimes you talk about your dog and he shits on the carpet in front of your company.
You have a point.
There you have it.
Let's move on.
We also had Raul Rojas Jr. He pulled out of his fight against Ricky Turcios. It could be moved to this card that we're going to break down here in a minute. But, you know, he got sick. They're going to have to move that fight, probably be a catchweight bout. But that is what it is. It fucked up my fantasy lineups.
Thanks,
but
buddy.
Didn't really have any effect on anything else. Then we just had the last two fights of the night, you know, kind of go.
Yeah.
Left
Shouts out
show.
to Brandon Roybal, the hometown kid. You know what I mean? I did not pick him. I did not believe he was going to do what he did, but he did.
He probably didn't read the message, but I did, you know, message him on IG and let him know, like, hey, man, you know, good shit. I didn't pick you for monetary purposes only, but nonetheless, you know, good shit on going into another man's home country and whooping his ass in front of his people. You know, hey, that's
something to be said about that.
Call
For
yourself
sure.
the raw dog. That was that was nasty work right there. So salute, my man. But right now we're gonna jump into this fight night card. We got a heavyweight main event. We got Jairzinho Rozenstruik going up against Shamil Gaziev. This is part of a 9-fight card right now at this point. That's why I said earlier, if Rojas Jr. and Turcios get put on this card, it'll make it a 10-fight card, which is a lot more presentable. But technically right now we're working with a 9-fight card. We had 2 fights drop out. Doesn't look like they're finding replacements for those 2 at the moment. But start things off, we got a middleweight bout between Cristian Leroy Duncan going up against Claudio Ribeiro. We got Duncan coming in 9-1 overall, 2-1 in the UFC, and 4-1 in their last 5. We got Ribeiro coming in at 11-5. They're 1-2 in the UFC and 3-2 in their last 5. I'm going to be going with Duncan to win in this fight, but who is it that you got winning in this bout?
I've got to absolutely go with the CLD. Um, that's my guy. He's 9-1. He's 2-1 in the UFC. He's 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Duncan's gonna probably win in a first or second round KO. It just has a larger arsenal of strikes, better cardio. If he does need to go in deep water, I don't think he will though. So I've got to go with Leroy my bad. Cristian Leroy Duncan. Claudio Ribeiro is, in my opinion, here, right? And then tomato cans are here. So, you know what I mean? It's like about the size of a tomato can or so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just feel like Ribeiro is a little bit limited in their striking, really just going for, head hunting, basically. You got Duncan, who he's going to throw all kinds of different shit at you. And I actually think they've been working on their grappling as well, clinching and getting into by the fence and stuff like that, leaning on guys.
Sure.
So I think also they'll have the better cardio in this fight. Like you said, if they don't KO them within the first 2 rounds, then that cardio is going to lead them to probably a decision victory. So, I'll be going with CLD in this fight as well.
Sounds good.
Nice. Moving on, we got a lightweight bout between Radzhabov going up against Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady. You got Radzhabov coming in at 17-5-1 overall. They're 1-1 in the UFC, 3-2 in their last 5. You got Selwady coming in at 15-3. They're making their debut in the UFC. Currently on a 5-fight win streak. I'm going to go with Selwady to win in this fight, but what is it that you believe is going to lead them to victory, in your opinion?
I got to believe that Abdul, Kareem, Jabbar, Rauf, Selwady.
Oh, man, come on, man.
He's going to win this one. My guy, yes, it is his UFC debut, but he's got a 5-fight win streak. He's got better footwork, better cardio. Radzhabov just doesn't have it. Just is not looking as crisp and as clean as this man is. I'm gonna go with this one on the decision. I'm not necessarily sure it's gonna be a KO. If it is a KO, it'll be a late round KO, a 3rd round KO. That's kind of where I'm at on it.
I feel you. I'm going to go with Selwady to win, decision or KO. They got the better footwork, better cardio. Radzhabov, they came into the UFC on short notice for their debut, but then in their next fight, when they had actually, time to prepare, they just weren't as impressive. So they ended up losing that fight. And I just feel like Selwady is going to be, he's just going to be moving around. He's always going to be moving, and that ultimately is going to be what is going to lead him to victory. I'm going to be going with Selwady. Moving on, we got a bantamweight bout between Javid Basharat going up against Aiemann Zhabi. Basharat's coming in undefeated, 3-0 in the UFC, 14-0 overall. You got Zhabi coming in at 10-2. They're 4-2 in the UFC and 3-2 in their last 5. I'm going to be going with Basharat to win, but who do you believe is going to be taking this one?
I got to go with one of the Bash brothers, right? 14-0. No blueprint on how to beat my ass.
Invincible.
3-0 in the UFC. Like, what? I mean, they're definitely going to win by. It's going to probably be more of a grappling exchange, not a striking exchange. So I've got to believe that the Basharat's going to win by a sub, maybe ground and pound. But I don't even know if this one goes to decision, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Basharat as well. Zhabi is, a good fighter, very well-rounded. I think that they're, a middle of the division kind of contender at this point. Basharat is definitely on his way to, getting bumped up in the rankings. I would say that this fight is going to win by either submission or a decision. Basharat's just more well-rounded, better fighter, hungrier. I just believe that they're going to take Zhabi out. Zhabi's got, their brother who, is a really dope coach, a legend in the game. But as you say.
Is he going to put the gloves on, though? Or is his little brother going to put them on?
Yeah, so, we're both going with Basharat on this one. So, technically, we'd be moving into the main card right now. But hold up. This is technically, there still would be 2 fights to cover, but like I said, those fights fizzled out. So moving on to the main card, we got a bantamweight bout between Umar and Nurmagomedov going up against Bekzat Almakhan. Nurmagomedov is having a rough time finding fights right now, so they're literally just bringing dudes in to fight him. This reminds me of like Demetrius Johnson in the flyweight division when they literally just had to start bringing in champions from across the world to fight him because trying to find fools in his division to fight him was just like next to nothing. So you got Nurmagomedov, 16-0 overall, 4-0 in the UFC, going up against Almakhan, 17-1. So this guy ain't no slouch technically on the international circuit, but they're making their UFC debut and they're currently on a 9-fight win streak. Umar is going to win this fight, though. This is just kind of now turned into a showcase fight. So he's probably going to win this fight by a sub or decision. They're just a better fighter and grappler, more UFC experience. But who is it that you got winning this fight?
I got to go with Nurmagomedov. His last name is Nurmagomedov. You're fucking Dagestan. They fucking fight bears out there and shit. They're fucking killers. Like, he's 16-0. Again, no blueprint to beat his ass. Perfection. He's 4-0 in the UFC as he's walked in. They just have so much. They've just figured it out. They figured out what the fight game is. You know what I mean? So I can't believe that he's not going to win by a sub in the probably the second, third round because they like to kind of play with their food in the first round. So that's where I call it. I don't think it's going to be a decision by any means. This is a showcase fight. He is going to get into the rankings here very soon. If not on this fight, the next fight more than likely.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to fucking
step the fuck up.
Yeah. Pretty soon here, fucking get these rankings rotating. So yeah, I'm gonna be going with Nurmagomedov. Like I said before, everything that I just said. So yeah, moving on, we got a flyweight bout between Matt Schnell going up against Steve Erceg. This is a fight that was supposed to already happen, but Schnell had to pull out of the fight. Schnell 16-7 with 1 no contest overall, 6-5 in the UFC, and 2-3 in their last 5. We got Erceg coming in 11-1, 2-0 in the UFC on a 10-fight win streak. They actually got into the rankings in their first fight in the UFC, filling in on short notice against David Dvorak. I'm gonna be going with Erceg in this fight, but who do you got?
I got to go with Erceg as well. He, again, 11-1, 2-0 in the UFC, 10-fight win streak. He looks like an IT fucking professional who's gonna tell you to fucking plug it in or unplug it for 30 seconds and plug it back in. Did you hit the power button at all? Did you hit Control Alt Delete? That's him, right? Like, look at his face, right? Control Alt Delete. But he's a fucking great fighter. Apparently, he's taking all that fucking IT energy that he has, and he's just fucking beating the shit out of people. So I respect that. Steve Erceg all day over Mike Schnell.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Erceg as well. They're just more well-rounded. They're part of this kind of like new wave of fighters who come in as just like mixed martial artists for real. They don't have like a base necessarily. They're just
Erceg is fucking homeboy from Fight Club. Like, not Durden, right? Not fucking Brad Pitt, but the other dude, right?
Yeah.
That's Erceg. That's that guy. He's just out here beating the fuck out of people because he's pissed at the world because he has, like, too much fucking...
a mundane job.
A mundane job and, like...
Mundane life.
And too much fucking IKEA fucking furniture in his house and shit. So he's just fucking people up.
Goes fucking... yeah, and the other thing about this fight is just that Schnell pulls out of a lot of fights and or just a lot of fights fall out over time for them, so they're not in the cage as often as I'm sure they'd like to be.
Yeah.
And I just kind of see this as their swan song, you know. I think that Erceg, you know, probably going to win this fight, and then Schnell's probably more than likely going to be let go from the
company,
from the promotion. So yeah. But you know, they also put on fucking really good fights. Yeah. Like they don't go out there and just, you know, bullshit. They actually do put on really good fights, win or lose. So there's also a reason why they're, you know, putting him up against Erceg as well.
I definitely respect pulling out, but just not out of fights.
All right, so we both are going with Erceg. Moving on, we got a flyweight bout between Alex Perez going up against Muhammad Mokaev. We got Perez coming in at 24-7. They're 6-3 in the UFC and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. You got Mokaev coming in undefeated, 10-0, and half of those wins coming in the UFC. Mokaev's going to win this fight, in my opinion. But who is it that you think is going to take this one?
It's absolutely Mokaev. Muhammad Mokaev. 10-0. Again, no fucking blueprint. You don't know how to beat him. Perfect. He's out here just whooping ass. He'll probably win by a sub, just because of the fact that like he's not handsy. You know what I mean? He's not a striker, so to speak. Perez is probably slightly more of a striker, but Mokaev is the more active fighter. He's a younger fighter. He's an up-and-coming fighter. This feels like a showcase fight to me as well. I know we've said that quite a bit in this last cast, but that's my guy. That's who's going to win. That's where I'm at. Well, I mean, I don't got no more for you.
Yeah, I'm going to be going with Mokaev in this fight. I think they're going to win by sub or decision. Yeah, I just think that they're, you know, here to get their ranking position. So this is going to, you know, make the case for them to start fighting, you know, stiffer competition. And, yeah, he's been ready to go since, you know, the day he came in. So I think that, you know, being the more active fighter and then, you know, just young and hungry guy, that they're ready to start, you know, fast tracking. So I'll definitely be going with Mokaev in this fight. You got a middleweight bout coming up next between...
I got a piss.
Killjoy.
Hey, fair enough. Like, we've, you know, behind the scenes, we've ran our fair share of takes, so this is fair enough. You good?
I'm good, my guy.
All right, so moving on, we got a middleweight bout between Eryk Anders going up against Jamie Pickett. I'm just going to call this a pink slip fight. You got Eryk Anders coming in 15-8 overall, 7-8 in the UFC, 2-3 in their last 5. You got Jamie Pickett. They're 13-10 overall, 2-6 in the UFC, and 1-4 in their last 5. I do believe that Anders is gonna win. They're probably gonna, knock Pickett out, or I don't know, potentially kind of grapple and ground and pound them to a decision. But there is a chance that Pickett could also, just grapple them to a decision. I believe that's like their only route to victory. But who is it that you got?
I got Eryk Anders. It's definitely gonna be a striking affair in my opinion.
Excuse me. What
Excuse
the
me, folks.
F?
Oh, excuse me again. Anyway, Eryk Anders is going to end this man. Eryk Anders is a killer. Eryk Anders wins with more power, more of a killer instinct, more of a striking prowess. I don't know this man, but I believe he wants it more. In his fights, he shows me that he's end all be all, right? Like he's not gonna ever let it go to decision for the most part. He's got to knock this man out, and I think he's planning on knocking this man out. He's also a heavy favorite in Tapology. I don't have it in front of me right now, but I believe he's definitely gonna win. And Jamie Pickett will get the UFC pink slip.
Yeah, I think even if Anders was to lose this fight, out of the two, he would be the most likely to actually keep their job after this fight with a loss, because he just goes in there and he puts on good fights.
He's exciting.
He's exciting for the fact that he can, knock someone out. But I will say he has been in some fucking, sleepers, because, he's looking for, the right shot, and the other person is either grappling him, or the other person is equally trying to find a shot, and neither one of them really find the shot. But other than that, I'm going with Anders, and I just feel like Pickett, he's kind of at the end of his rope with the UFC. I think he has a lot of fights ahead of him, with other organizations, but I think UFC at this point is just not his caliber.
Beat it, Jamie Pickett.
Yeah, beat it.
Moving on to the co-main event. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening, we got a light heavyweight bout between Vitor Petrino going up against Tyson Pedro. Petrino is 10-0 right now, 3-0 in the UFC, going up against Pedro, who's 10-4 overall, 6-4 in the UFC, and 3-2 in their last 5. I'm going to be going with Petrino to win, either KO or decision. Who do you got?
I'm going with Petrino. Petrino is 10-0, 3-0 in the UFC. He's a fucking knockout artist. He lives everything on the canvas. Tyson Pedro doesn't. Tyson Pedro doesn't have better cardio than this man. There's no way, in my opinion, that this isn't a win for Petrino. This isn't a knockout for Petrino. I'm not doing no decisions. It's knockout all day. And I mean, just not maybe I can't pick the round necessarily, but this will absolutely not go the distance. I guarantee it.
Well, yeah, it's I could just see Pedro making this a boring fight for Petrino, which is why I have the decision in there. But I do feel like between his stand-up and his grappling, Petrino could, finish Tyson Pedro. But, Pedro, I guess, out of everybody now that the Klein fight fell, because that was the only live dog I had on this card, I would say probably Pedro's maybe the livest dog, but I'm not going to be picking him. So I believe Petrino has better cardio, younger, and, whether you believe in it or not, they have shorter travel ahead of them. So I think that
Who has shorter travel?
Petrino.
Absolutely.
So I think that, that's going to go in their favor. So looks like we're both going with Petrino. Moving on to the main event. Hey. We got a heavyweight bout between Jairzinho Rozenstruik going up against Shamil Gaziev. Rozenstruik's 13-5 overall, 7-5 in the UFC, and 2-3 in their last 5. And you got Shamil coming in undefeated, 1-0 in the UFC. I'm going to be going with Gaziev to win. I believe that this fight isn't going to see, the 4th or the 5th round. Probably not even the 3rd. I think that Gaziev's the better overall fighter, and he'll probably get this done by either sub or KO. Who do you got?
I'm absolutely going with Shamil Gaziev. Rozenstruik with his long ass name with a bunch of fucking vowels and consonants and all that shit. He has hands of goddamn concrete. I will say that some of the heaviest hands in the division for sure. Shamil has the same not as quite as heavy as his, but very good hands, very strong hands, but also very quick hands. Mm-hmm. Rozenstruik, whatever the fuck his weird ass name is.
Whoa there, bud.
He is good, but he does not have the cardio. He cannot, I don't think, go into deep rounds if it's necessary. This is a main event, right? So we're talking about 5 rounds. I believe Gaziev can go into 5 rounds. I do not believe that Rozenstruik can go into 5 rounds. And again, my man's undefeated. My man, there's no blueprint to whooping his ass.
Juggernaut.
He's hungry. And this puts him in a title contention type of situation. Mm-hmm. So I cannot believe.
I don't know if Rozenstruik puts you in title contention, but it definitely puts you up there in the rankings.
If it puts you in the numbers.
Like 1 or 2 more fights away from fucking potential titles. I don't know about, man. I almost fucking agreed with that, but then I had to think about that. But Rozenstruik's been on a slide, kind of.
Okay, well, whatever, my G. I'm going to tell you right now. Gaziev's going to win because he's supposed to win. Like, that's what the UFC wants. The UFC wants him to win. Beat this dude, Rozenstruik, off. Like I said,
Wait, what?
Oh, my God. Oh, God.
Hey,
yo.
Hey,
fucking yo. Oh, man.
Please strike that shit from the record. Anyway. Like I told you, I want to see Rozenstruik fight Alistair Overeem. I still want to see that fight.
Hey.
I want to see the replay.
There's a small window with that. It probably won't be on the UFC if it ever does take place again. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, that's one of them ones that, should be.
It just needs to happen,
redone,
right?
For sure, yeah, for sure. I'm going to be going with Shamil Gaziev as well. Like I said, sub or KO, better overall fighter. Rozenstruik, not only don't think they could, go past the second round,
Okay.
depending on how this fight gets, especially if it starts becoming a grappling affair in any sort of type of way. Not only don't think that's going to go in their favor, but their chin is, I'm not gonna say they're chinny, but they've definitely had it fucking punished a few times. So I believe if Gaziev's able to land a few good ones throughout this fight, eventually he's gonna be able to drop Rozenstruik. And probably like club himself, probably, drop him with something and then, wrap him up, give him a submission, something like that. But yeah, so going with Gaziev. That's going to wrap up our predictions, picks, and move us into the bets portion of our show here. For anybody who's watching who necessarily isn't a Vitor Petrino fan, I would say Tyson Pedro is definitely a live dog on this card.
Don't do that shit.
As far as parlays are concerned, though, I'll go ahead and start off with a 4-leg parlay. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and probably just turn it into a 3-leg parlay because by the time this airs, Basharat and Nurmagomedov's lines are probably going to widen. That they're probably not even going to be valuable. So I'm going to say Steve Erceg, Muhammad Mokaev, and Shamil Gaziev, 3-leg parlay. I guess I'm not even going to say spice it up, but if you just want to add more, then you can add Basharat and Nurmagomedov. But yeah, who you got?
I mean, my shit's basically his shit, very close at least. So you're gonna do a Basharat, Nurmagomedov, Mokaev, Anders, Petrino, Gaziev, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Boom. 6 pick. I'm gonna give you
y'all.
I'm gonna give you the whole 6 pick. Like, I'm not even gonna say like, oh, this is the spicy pick. No, this is just the pick. It just makes sense. So I mean, do it or not. You know what I mean? Win or not. It's up to y'all. I don't give a fuck.
Once again, this has been another episode of Bros Talk MMA. Real quick before we go, like, subscribe, comment, and share. You can follow us at Bros Talk MMA on Instagram. You can follow Ray Bucks here at r1.mason. And you can follow me at Utica_SME. Shout outs one time to our guy Pound Game Addison and the whole team with him. Unfortunately, they couldn't join us today for this episode because of an unforeseen scheduling conflict. So we wish them nothing but, success and safe travels during their tour. There's some things in store that we think you guys will really like, so be on the lookout for that. Yeah. Other than that, until the next time, you got anything?
Again, just put your fucking wins in the comments. You know what I mean? I'm giving y'all wins. Y'all niggas ain't putting nothing in the comments. You know what I mean? 5. Gave you 5 in a row.
Yeah.
I can't get no fire in the chat. Can't get no nothing. I'm just saying though.
Hey, show my bro some love. We appreciate y'all for watching. Our latest episode was our fastest growing and highest viewed episode thus far. So we really appreciate y'all. We appreciate everybody who's reached out and told us, all the positive feedback and the things that they'd like to see. Yeah, let's just keep this thing rolling. And until the next time, we out.